It's May 14th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a hospital ship swallowed before dawn, survivors trapped on a desolate island, and an experiment that changed humanity forever. Let's begin. On May 14th, 1943, the black waters off of the coast of Queensland look calm beneath the darkness of early morning. Far out at sea, the Australian hospital ship Centaur moved silently through the night, glowing beneath bright spotlights, its white hull marked with an enormous red cross visible for miles, a floating promise that the ship carried no weapons, only doctors, nurses, and wounded soldiers. Then, at 4:10, something struck beneath the surface. Without warning, a Japanese torpedo slammed into the side of the ship. An explosion ripped through the fuel tanks with such force. The Centaur began immediately sinking. No distress call, no time to launch lifeboats. In less than 3 minutes, the ship vanished. Hundreds were hurled into the burning debris and oil-covered water. Through the night, survivors clung onto the wreckage while screams echoed across the sea. But by sunrise, most were already dead. Only 64 people survived, among them a nurse, Ellen Savage, badly injured, but still confronting dying survivors floating beside her on the open ocean. More than 260 people never came home. Imagine floating in complete darkness, surrounded by oil, wreckage, and screams that slowly faded into silence. On May 14, 1866, an American ship called the General Grant drifted through the freezing darkness near the remote Auckland Islands, far south of New Zealand. On board were more than 80 passengers and crew, along with thousands of ounces of gold bound for London. The sea was strangely calm, then someone spotted it, a giant black opening in a cliff ahead, a sea cave towering nearly 400 feet high. Before the crew could escape, a powerful current dragged the ship into the mouth of the cavern. Inside, the waves exploded against the walls like cannon fire. Passengers screamed as the General Grant smashed repeatedly to the rock ceiling, and the sound of the ocean echoed through a cave like thunder. The ship began to sink, and most aboard never made it out alive. Only 15 survivors escaped the caves to reach the desolate Auckland Islands, one of the harshest places on Earth. They were completely alone. For the next 16 months, the castaways survived freezing winds, starvation, and isolation by hunting seals and seabirds, and at one point they discovered a single remaining match. If they let that flame die, they knew they would die along with it, so they guarded the fire day and night for months without ever letting it go out. Imagine realizing the only thing standing between you and freezing to death was a single tiny flame that could never go out. On May 14, 1796, an English doctor named Edward Jenner carried out an experiment that sounded insane. At the time, smallpox was one of the most feared diseases on the earth. Victims developed burning fevers and bodies covered in painful blisters. Many died, and survivors were often left blind or permanently scarred. Entire towns feared it, but Jenner believed he had discovered something. Farmers had long whispered that milkmaids who caught the mild disease of cowpox never seemed to catch smallpox afterwards. Most dismissed it as a superstition, but he did not. On that day, he took pus from the infected hand of a milkmaid named Sarah and walked to the home of his gardener. Waiting for him was an 8-year-old boy named James Phillips. Jenner cut 2 small wounds in the child's arm, rubbed the infection directly into the skin. The boy became sick for several days. Then, weeks later, Jenner deliberately exposed the child to smallpox. If he was wrong, the boy would have most certainly died. But James never became ill. The experiment became the foundation of vaccination and modern immunology. Jenner's experiment sounds horrifying today, but without it, millions more would have died from smallpox. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.